further ado, I think that you have a great opportunity today, and I will tell you why. Because Ayana spent some time with you. She's been a bit of fly on the wall. We talked about you a lot in the last days at the evening when we sort of came back, and she is a very unique person because she can translate a lot between academic to normal world, so to speak. She had a unique skill of talking to people and listening to them. And then she can tell us really what we can do, how we are to support you and how we take certain things for granted. So it's been fantastic. And I take this opportunity to also thank Ayana for joining this project. It's been really wonderful. But ultimately today, Ayana has an opportunity to talk to you really about digital skills, and then she would talk to you a little bit today about opportunities that you have. Later on today, she would talk to you a little bit more about the obligations that you have. But let's start with the possibilities. So I hope that you will join me in welcoming Ayana. Ayana has a experience with publishing. She's an entrepreneur. She's very well experienced in branding yourself. And I know that this is, up there sit the old school academics. Up here, we will take it to 21st century, right? So how you are to make your career for next 30 years. And one of those things is really digital skills. So please join me to welcome Ayana Coleman, our digital expert.
Thank you so much, Marta. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here, and I've had a chance to talk to a few of you over the past couple of days. And like Marta was saying, I have been a fly on the wall. So I have been watching you. I have been stalking you a little bit on the internet. It's true, I have been creating this presentation for you. And I think we will be tweaking some of it a little bit from my conversations with some of you and the things that you're saying that you're interested in or worried about. So without further ado, what we will cover today, I'm going to give you a little introduction about myself, where I come from. Like Marta was saying, I have a different background from some of the other presenters that you've heard from. Then we're going to go into digital marketing, what that means. Then after that, we'll talk about social media, email marketing, and websites, and why they're so important for projects like Sapiens, but also for you as researchers. All right, so first slide. My name is Ayana Coleman, pronounced Ayana. I hope that I don't bore you. I hope that you're not yawning through my presentation, but I know that all of you have beautiful, unique names. And as I continue to talk to you later today and through the week, I'm really looking forward to learning how to pronounce all of your names. So I wanted to start with that. I was born in Michigan in the United States, and I was raised in a college town in Illinois called Champaign. So obviously there was some type of French roots going on there. And in Champaign, I studied marketing, and I got my master's in library and information science, which was weird. And my parents weren't loving it, but I knew that I wanted to go into the publishing industry, and I knew that libraries were kind of the main buyers for the publishing industry, still are. So I wanted to get into their heads and be indisposable to the publishing industry when I eventually got there. What I learned in library and information science was that I don't need to have all the answers, but I need to know where to find them, and I need to have the confidence to know where to find them, and that's what it instilled in me. So in 2011, I moved to New York, where I went into the publishing industry, and I focused on marketing. Mostly in the publishing industry, I was marketing director of development, which is basically marketing to a different set of people, and really got to learn about branding, really got to learn about putting myself out there, but also putting my authors and my companies out there too, and what that looks like and how that's a little bit different from just marketing yourself. And then in 2018, I moved to Tokyo. So I've been in Tokyo for about 3.5 years now. And that kind of blew up my world. I was no longer in the publishing industry. I was no longer living my dream and following that passion and purpose that had been there with me since I was 10 years old. So I had to reinvent myself, which meant I had to market myself in a different way. So marketing and operations, that's kind of where my passion and my purpose has driven me to here being with you at Sapiens. And in 2013 to 2018, that's when I started my own company, Quill Shift Literary Agency. So I was helping authors market themselves to publishers, to editors inside publishing houses so that they would buy their books. I worked at different companies like Tanglewood, which is a publishing house, working and marketing their authors and marketing Tanglewood to different industry professionals. And behind the book where I was director of development, and I did email campaigns, I did social media campaigns, and I was connecting the constituents with the cause of the nonprofit. When I was at Tanglewood, I went to Yale School of Management and did a fellowship with them on leadership in book publishing. And I got a chance to network and meet and again, market myself and market my company to other industry professionals. And in Tokyo, I was a part of a couple of nonprofits where I was director of website management for FEW, which is for empowering women. It's a Tokyo-based nonprofit that focuses on the fact that there are gender dynamics in Japan, for sure, and there are a lot of women who come into Japan who are from Western countries, and they come in with a set of understandings that their voices are as important as a man's voice, their career is as important as a man's career, but then when you get to Japan, the culture is very different. And so For Empowering Women was all about uplifting and enriching and supporting women in Japan and making sure that their voices were heard. So I was very happy to work with them. Legacy Foundation Japan is a nonprofit that I helped found in Japan that focuses on African Americans in Japan and people from the Black diaspora and the communities in which they live in to help support and enrich and uplift them in Tokyo. And then Coleman and Associates and Players for Players, they're two organizations, two companies that I've worked with. Coleman and Associates is all about buyer procurement and diversity in that. So kind of focuses in on what you are doing at Sapiens. And Players for Players is a app that I'm working with as their director of marketing to help athletes connect with their fans in an interesting and branded way. And then that takes us to Sapiens Network. So this has been by far my favorite project in 2021. I built the website for Sapiens. I did the branding, which includes the colors. It includes the logo. It includes the fonts that we're using. I worked very closely with Marta and the other steering committee to make sure that Sapiens provided a specific feeling to you all PhD students when you were like, oh, should we apply to this or not? And like, what kind of information do they have and how invested are they in me as a researcher? What can I get out of this? And that's kind of what I helped them create and mold so that you all are sitting here today, really excited, hopefully, about your projects. All right, so let's go into digital marketing. We're going to talk about what it is compared to just regular marketing. We're going to talk about why it's important and how you can do it. Because as I said, I've had some conversations with some of you and you're like, I mean, I know social media. I don't love social media. Guess what? I don't love it either. But we all kind of have to do it. So how do you do that? So let's start out with what is marketing? So marketing is all about getting as many people as possible, as many ideal people as possible to know about your product, your service, your research specifically for you all across various channels. So you have the best possible opportunity to have those people take the action that you want. And it's not just one action, right? It's not just buy the product. It's not just visit the store. It's not just come to the conference. There are a lot of different actions that you might want someone to take, and it might be different types of people, right? So marketing is all about looking at who the ideal person is and where they are and speaking to them in a way that they will take the action that you want. Now, for digital marketing, it's a little bit different because regular marketing, you can do postcards, you can go to conferences, right? That's in person or that's like print. But digital marketing is all about making sure that you're connecting with people across the electronic field, right? So that's email marketing, that's social media, that is content marketing, like creating articles and blogs on the internet. So that's kind of what we're talking about with digital marketing. All right, so have you ever heard of the advice, meet them where they are? Does this ring a bell for anyone? Have you heard of that kind of idiom before? Okay, so it goes for a lot of different things. I'm not going to teach someone how to make a cappuccino if they don't already know how to make an espresso, right? Because that's kind of the base of a cappuccino. And obviously, if they haven't been to Italy and they haven't tasted the amazing espresso here, then they don't have a base of understanding of what that espresso should taste like and should be like. So you have to meet them at a foundational level. The same thing with if someone visits me in Tokyo, and I'm like, I'm going to take you to this amazing noodle shop. And here it is. I'm going to give them the address. But you've never been to Tokyo before. You have never taken the train systems. You don't know how the streets are labeled. So you're going to get lost and you're going to be really pissed at me. I need to meet them like at their hotel and take them by the hand to get to this noodle shop, right? So I can't just expect someone to go from, crawling to running. I have to meet them where they are. And when we look at digital marketing, and I use the term meet them where they are, I'm also talking about the fact that people are lazy. People don't want to go out of their way to find specific things. They want you to come to them. They want to be in their comfort zone, and then they want you to present the information that is valuable to them in their comfort zone. And that's exactly what digital marketing allows you to do. So this slide is very interesting. I was doing another presentation a couple of weeks ago, and I found this information. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what you all should know when we're talking about digital marketing. So there's about 7.8 billion people in the world. There are 5.2 billion unique phone users, mobile phone users in the world. And then you have 4.6 internet users and 4.2 billion active social media users. And when they say active social media users, they're talking about the fact that like they have at least one social media account and they're on it. So when we say that there's so many people, so many billion people in the world, and more than half of them are on the internet, and more than half of them are on social media, it means that when you're doing your research and you're trying to get out to these people, you need to meet them where they are. You need to be on the internet, you need to be on social media and connecting with them. All right, but why is digital marketing important to you as a researcher? So I come from the publishing industry. I come from children's book publishing specifically, and in all cultures, there are fairy tales, and usually things happen in threes. So you're gonna see a lot of my presentation being like 3 specific things that you should be looking at and thinking about. The first thing that I want to share with you all is research. You need to have measurable results, right? You need to make sure that you have numbers to back up what you're saying are the results of what you're doing. Social media and email marketing and having a website, it makes it really easy to be able to measure the impact that you're having when it comes to your digital marketing. So as a researcher, you know the importance of these metrics. And you can, through social media, through email marketing, through websites, you can see how many people saw what you shared. You can see how many people clicked on the link that you wanted them to go to. You can see how many people visited your website in a specific amount of time. And then you are able to adjust to say, okay, well, next time I'm going to do this, or next time I'm going to do that. But you have a basis for what you're doing. And you wouldn't necessarily have that if, say, you're speaking at a conference. And I can see how many people are in the room. I can see how many people are, online, but I can't tell how many people are actually paying attention. I can't tell how many people are actually like sharing the information after my speech, but you can do that a lot more easily with digital marketing. The next thing is that digital marketing is very efficient. You have complete control over where you choose to spend your time and sometimes money. So with a good strategy, you can pivot like I was sharing before. You can say, you know what? I really like Twitter because it is fast, it is quick, I can share links, I can share pictures, but I'm not getting a lot of interaction on Twitter. And I can see that because I'm measuring it. So let me switch it up. Let me go to Facebook, let me go to Instagram, let me try email marketing and look at those results. And you don't have to be toiling for a long amount of time, and you can really focus in on what works for you and be authentic where you can feel most comfortable. The next thing is that digital marketing is very, very focused. So not only can you measure your results, not only can you be efficient with the way in which you share your information, but you can be very targeted with who you're talking to. And you can use hashtags, you can use handles, you can connect with people in ways that you wouldn't necessarily be able to in the real world, because of the algorithms that they have created for you to make those connections. So measurable, efficient, and focused are 3 reasons why digital marketing is very, very important to you as a researcher, because you've got a lot to do. You don't have a lot of time, right? So we want to make sure that things are easy for you so that you can make the most of your 3 years and after with your Sapiens research. All right, so this is the question that I've been getting from a lot of you. You're saying, this is great. I know I'm supposed to be on Twitter. I know I'm supposed to be on LinkedIn. I know I'm supposed to share, but how actually can I do that and not drive myself crazy? So that's what we're going to get into. Social media, like I was sharing before, email marketing, and websites, those are the 3 areas that I think would suit you best to focus on when you think about your digital marketing strategy. You don't have to do all 3 of them. You don't have to do like all 7 of the main social media channels. I would highly recommend you don't do that. But you should mix and match. You should pick and choose to the ones that are authentic to you, the ones where the people who you need to reach are, and then measure it, see if it works, and if not, then you can pivot. So social media is any digital tool that allows users to quickly create and share their content. This encompasses a wide range of channels. So like I said, you've got Twitter, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Clubhouse, and the different social media channels are good for different things. So Twitter is really great for short, snappy things. TikTok is really great for obviously like viral videos. Probably not so great for disseminating your Sapiens research. I'm just going to put that out there. But you have channels, you have different channels for different things. And so it's really important to know what channels work best for you and where those people are. Social media allows you to reach an extremely wide and also obviously very targeted audience. All right, so here we go for 3s. I'm going to talk to you about the 3 channels that I think, social media channels that I think would be best for you all to focus on. And I'm very excited to hear in the questions if you have other channels that you're interested in that I can help you with. So the first channel is LinkedIn, obviously. Is that a shocker to anyone? You all are amazing young professionals. You've got a lot to share, and LinkedIn is a beautiful platform for you to be on to connect with one another, to connect with other researchers, to connect with professors, to connect with UN officials, to be a part of groups, to be a part of different channels within LinkedIn, following organizations, and see what's going on. And then because social media is not like direct mail, because social media is not like you need to have someone's email and you kind of need to have an introduction to tap them for something, it's a lot more, it's easier for you to just reach out because you're in a group. And because you're in that group, they are more likely to listen to what you have to say. They are more likely to connect with you. And then you are more likely to talk to them about your research. Another thing about LinkedIn is that it's the place to brag. A lot of other social media channels, you have to be careful about how you show up on those channels. But LinkedIn, it's kind of like you have a free pass to talk about all of your accomplishments. You have which is great, because I know specifically for me, like I don't like to brag about myself really. I like to brag about other people. That's why I went into marketing, so I could brag about other people. There's a distance there, but on LinkedIn, it is about you, and it's about your research and about your project, and it's about making sure that people know about it. So don't feel weird. Don't feel bad about bragging about all. Yeah, I see like some shaking of heads. Don't feel weird. People expect it. And if you don't do that on LinkedIn, they're kind of like, why are you here? So don't make them question why you're here. Show them, show up. The next social media platform is Twitter. So Twitter can be a beast because things go really, really fast on Twitter. And they have extended the amount of characters that you're using on the platform. So you used to not have a lot of space to say what you wanted to say, specifically because they wanted people to be kind of pithy and on it. You still don't have a lot of space to say what you want to say, which is really lovely because it's not like you have to write a 20-page paper. You write 2 sentences and put some hashtags in. You connect with the people and organizations that you're interested in, and you keep it moving. And because Twitter is so fast-paced, they say that if you really want to get noticed on Twitter, then you should be posting around 6 to 7 things a day. I don't say that because that would drive me insane. But you don't have to worry about inundating the platform and making people feel like, oh, I don't want to hear about whatever Ayana's doing, because on their feed, things are moving at lightning speed. So you can share as kind of often as you want on Twitter and not feel like you're boring anyone because they've got a lot of other stuff going on. The last platform that I think is really, really interesting is Clubhouse. Have you all heard about Clubhouse? I'm seeing some nods, I'm seeing some shaking of heads. Okay, so Clubhouse is a new social media platform, and it's all about audio. It came on the scene right during the pandemic, and as we saw with a lot of other things during the pandemic, people paid attention because they didn't have a lot of other stuff to do. Clubhouse is all about going into rooms and speaking about topics of interest to you. You have your profile, you have your face, but no one can see you. So it's just all audio. And I thought that this would be a really interesting platform for you all to kind of think about because it is also an equalizer. Anybody can go on Clubhouse, especially now because it's not invitation only anymore. And because I feel like a lot of you PhDs, like I said, I've been watching you, I've been lurking in the background. You're loquacious, you talk, you are very well spoken, and you're going to have a lot to speak about when you do your research. So Clubhouse, I think, is a really interesting platform for you to explore, to create rooms, invite people in, and then have conversations about the research, right? You are going to be moving and shaking and changing sustainable public procurement, as Marta has been tweeting through this ATC1. You are our future and really excited about it. And this is a really nice platform for you to get in and start sharing and have conversations in a really authentic way. Okay, so you have the 3 platforms that I think might be very interesting to you, but now you're like, how do I create this content? Like, we have to put things on these platforms. What do we do? So again, I've got 3 C's for you to remember. The first one is content. So I know you worry about what do you put in? How do you put it in? Is it written? Is it images? Do I have to make all these videos? Because I've heard that videos are like the best thing since sliced bread when it comes to social media. And I'm going to say what you should focus on is what you have to say, like your content pillars. So in each one of your research areas, you know that there are like 3 to 5 specific things that are interesting to you, specifically to you. You applied for this, so you know that there are things that you really want to delve deep in and invest in your ESR. Write those down, and then say, okay, within those 3 to 5 topics, I want to talk about like these 3 things in this topic. I want to talk about these couple of things in this topic. So now you don't just have 3 to 5 topics, you've got 15 to 20 things that you can talk about. And you won't feel stuck when it comes to, oh, I have to post on Twitter, I have to post on Instagram, I have to post on Facebook, I have to post on, Clubhouse. You already know what you want to be talking about. And then it comes down to, how do you share that? You can share it in written content, you can share it in GIFs, you can share it in statistics, you can share it in infographics, you can share event information that you're really excited to go to and you want people to meet you there. You can post questions or fill in the blanks so that you're engaging the people on that platform. So now you have 15 to 20 different pieces of information, different topics, different themes that you're working with, and you've got like 5 or 6 different ways in which you can engage people on those topics. So then you don't feel like, I have nothing to share, I have no content to share, because you're already organized, you've got a strategy. The next thing I would say is be consistent, and this is really, really hard. It is, but the thing about social media is that you don't become famous overnight. You put in the work. You put in the days, the weeks, the years, and you see the person who has 17,000 followers, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did they do that? Like, I'm never going to get there, and I only have 5 followers, so why should I even do this? And it's really about the fact that they were consistent over like 5 to 7 years. They were posting, they were figuring out their tone, they were figuring out what they were really interested in sharing, and then they did that. And then they got better, and they used hashtags, which I will talk about later, and they used handles, and they connected with the people who were most interested in their information, who then connected their information to more people. So if you're consistent about sharing across these platforms, you will find an audience, you will become more comfortable with what you're doing. And last is connection. So that's where the hashtags come in. That's where the handles come in. They're very, very important because the algorithms on these social platforms are made to make sure that the people who are following these rules are getting seen, and you want to be seen. You want to put hashtags, which are keywords, basically, in your posts so that people who are following those keywords are the ones who see your posts. They're the ones who are interested. You want to make sure that they find your stuff. Same with handles. They're the usernames, usually with an @ symbol. You want to make sure that you put handles in your LinkedIn posts. You put handles in your Twitter posts, because then those people will get a ping and they'll see, oh, they're talking about me. Oh, let me just like see what they have to say. Oh, I'll like it. Or, oh, I'll reshare this because it makes me look good. So that's a way in which you get the engagement. That's the way you get the interaction. And that's how you find people and nurture people in those connections to come back and look at more of the stuff that you're sharing. All right, on to email marketing. This is my favorite type of marketing, by the way. And I'll talk to you more about why. You'll see some statistics in the next slide. But email marketing is the use of email to promote products or services or research while developing relationships with your potential audience. So unlike social media, where you don't need to know these people, right? You post online and you put the hashtags in, you find their handles, and they may or may not connect with you. Email marketing, you have to have permission. You need to know who these people are. They need to know you, and they need to say, yes, I would like to hear from you because I'm interested in what you're doing. So it's a little bit different, and there's a little bit more of a barrier to entry. And it's essentially the same thing as direct mail, except for it's done electronically instead of through the post office. So email marketing allows people to share news, updates, announcements, promotions, thank yous. Thank yous are huge. Everyone wants to get a thank you. Everyone wants to be welcomed. So when you do that in email marketing, you get a higher open rate. You get higher engagement because you're doing something that everyone wants to feel. They want to feel welcome. They want to be thanked for something. And so you can do this, you can do these types of emails and many more. But the thing about email marketing is that it can be very highly personalized. And again, people like to be seen, and you can do that really well with email marketing. And it can also be branded. So I'm sure, and if you are not, then I highly suggest it to subscribe to Sapiens email newsletter. But you'll see at the top, it's branded. You know what's coming to your inbox. You are attached to that email. So when you open it up, you're like, okay, this is Sapiens. I have a specific feeling about Sapiens. And I have a specific expectation about what Sapiens is going to share. So I'm going to read through this email. And you can do that personally as a researcher or through your organizations, because you're all a part of beneficiary organizations and Sapiens. Through their newsletters, you can utilize email marketing to get the word out about your research. Okay, so the fun numbers here. We saw some numbers about digital marketing kind of across the board. For email marketing, these statistics I feel are very interesting. So we already know that there's about 7 billion people in the world. 3.9 billion of those people are using email. So you've got 50% of these people, and they are using email. They have email accounts. They're looking at their email accounts. You're getting directly into their inbox, which is another layer that is not something that you have when it comes to social media. It's more personal, and that means that people will take more action with your emails. So this number is actually expected to grow to 4.3 billion in 2023. And just so you know, I know a lot of people love Facebook and they think Facebook is the end all be all, but there's only, 2.9 billion users using Facebook? There's only 1 billion users using Instagram. So when you look at those numbers and you think about marketing and you think about this is about getting the most ideal people to look at what I want them to look at, email is providing you with much more, like a breadth of options than social media. So a study of more than 1 billion shopping sessions in 2019 found that email marketing has a conversion rate, which basically means people are doing what you're asking them to do, of 2.3% compared to 1% for social media. So you're not asking them to buy things when you might be emailing them through your beneficiary or through your personal email, but getting people to part with their hard-earned dollars is the hardest thing you do in marketing. So if you're just asking them to click on a link, if you're asking them to watch this video, if you're asking them to come to an event, you are going to have a much higher success rate if you do it through email marketing. So I know that we're talking about email marketing. You're like, okay, this is great. This is wonderful. You've told me how to make content for social media, but like, what would I put in an email that would interest people? And I've come up with this cute little acronym for you, ICE, to help you understand the different types of emails that you might be able to send. So you've got the informative emails that are newsletter and announcements or blasts. You have conversion type emails that are reminders of coming to an event or a promotion of something that you're doing. And then you have engagement type emails that are all about, like I said, welcoming people, thanking people, or re-engaging them because you've not been consistent, which, you know, all of us have fallen into, and you need to be like, okay, wake up. We're here, you're here, I've got things to share with you. And so it's a different type of email process. For newsletters and announcements, the things that I think that you should remember is that newsletters are all about making sure that you are sharing the things that the people who said that they want to hear from you expect to get from you. And you can have a couple of different topics in your newsletters, you can mix it up, but you don't want to have more than like 5 things that you're sharing in a newsletter, because then people are like, what is this? This is all over the place. With announcements or blasts, it's about one specific thing. You're focusing on one action, one item that you want people to be taking. With reminders and promotions, like I said, it's really great to use those for events. It's really great to use those for saying, hey, I'm going to do this open source webinar and I want you to come. Here's the information again. And then with engagements, whenever anyone signs up for an email newsletter, or whenever anyone like sends you an email for the first time, sending them a welcome email and saying, oh, I'm so glad that you're here. I've got so much great stuff to share. Here's what you can expect from me. That's a best practice that you will hear across the board for over the past 10 years. And the next 10 years, everyone will still say you should be doing engagement emails, because that means that people are more likely to open your emails going forward. Okay, so we have 3 suggestions for your email marketing. The first one is be helpful. People get a lot of emails in their inbox. A lot of them are junk. And if you say you're going to be sharing a specific something with the people that you're sending emails to, and then they get that email and they realize this isn't helpful to me, they are going to delete you from their inbox, and they're not going to open the next email that you send. So for you as researchers, if you're sending emails through your beneficiary, or if you're going to create your own email list or something to start sending stuff out to interested parties, make sure that what you're sending them is something that they can use. It's action that they can take. It's events that they want to see, connected with the content that you're most interested in, that you said that you would share with them. The next tip is to personalize. Like I said, everybody wants to be seen. And really, marketing is about getting people's eyeballs on the stuff that you want them to see. But it's about saying, hey, I know what you want. I know what you like. I know what you're interested in. Come to me because I'm going to share that with you. And then when you share that with them, they don't want to hear like or see or experience dear friend or dear colleague or dear student or dear professor or dear researcher. That is not something that they want. They want dear Ayana. They want to be seen. They want to know that this email is coming directly to them, and that the content that you're sharing will affect them specifically. So personalizing your emails are very, very important. And the last thing I would say is mix it up. specifically with the subject line of your emails, people have a short attention span. And if you continue to send emails that are like Ayana's 2021 January newsletter, and then my next newsletter is Ayana's 2021 February newsletter. Yes, it's predictable. Yes, people know what they're getting, but at the same time, people are like, this is boring, and maybe I don't want her newsletter. But if I ask a question, if I pique someone's interest in the subject line, if I mix it up so they don't quite know what I'm sending, but it still makes sense with what I shared I would probably be sending to them, then they're more likely to open and they're more likely to engage in my email. Okay, so this is the last part of the presentation, and I said email was my favorite because it's what I do most often, creating email campaigns, but I also create websites, and I'm also very focused on making sure that people understand the power of a website, specifically for researchers, specifically for academics, specifically for prestigious programs like Sapiens. It's very important to have a website. It's very important to have this business card on the internet that people can come to, they can have a specific feeling about and associate with you all. And also it helps with discoverability. So when you're thinking, I am just a number on social media, there are all these other social media users, no one knows who I am, I only have 5 followers, but you have a website, and on that website you have your social media accounts. It allows people to connect with you in a different way, and it makes sure that people can find you. So web presence is very, very important. So we talked about why you need one, and I'm going to talk about specifically projects and also researchers. So with the project, first, like I said, it's a showcase. For Sapiens specifically, it's their digital business card. It allows Sapiens to advertise, right? To advertise to all of you about why this project is important. It allows Sapiens to showcase the experience of its lead researchers, which also showed you why it's such a cool opportunity for you to be here. It allows Sapiens to explain the background of the goals and the type of research that they want to be doing. And it allows them to have a professionally designed, thorough, and easy to use space for all of the content in which they're going to be pumping out to the world. So showcase and being a showcase for everything that you're doing is the first important step and reason why you should have a web presence. The next is discoverability. So SEO, search engine optimization, very, very important, especially because like Google owns the world and everyone uses Google for the most part as a search engine. And so when you have a website with all of these rich keywords on it, you have blog posts, you have about pages, you have research pages that go into and utilize specific wording for your research. You have Marie Curie, you have Horizons 2020, and whenever anyone searches those terms, Sapiens website will come up, and you're connected to these amazing terms and these amazing other projects. So it supports other people finding you, specifically on the project basis. The last is your website is a nexus. So like I said before, you're going to have social media platforms. These projects have social media platforms. You're also going to have email newsletter lists, as Sapiens does. You are going to have blog posts that you're sending out and making sure that people know about. And all of that is going to be on your website. And you don't want people going in all different directions to figure out, where am I going to get this information? The website is the place that they go. And then from there, they have these vehicles to find you in all these other places where they want to be at. Like I said, people are lazy. So if you give them one space to come to, and then you're like, and here you go, pick and choose where you want to go now, it makes it very, very easy for them. So that's why it's important for projects, institutions, companies to have websites. But when it comes to researchers, why do you think that it's important for you to have a website? Because I know that a lot of academics don't have their own websites, which kills my heart a little bit because you have a lot to share. So why don't you have a website to share it? So this is an open question. Why do you think it's important for researchers to have websites? Anyone? Do you think it's the same? A channel of disseminating your research. Yes. So connecting the information and who you are and your personality and what you're doing beyond the specific project. Very good. Anyone else? Oh, you guys are so smart. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to repeat it for the people online, but to build your reputation and to make sure that people know about the research that you're focusing on as you move forward. Any other thoughts before I release? Yes.
Is something that travels with you. So in today's day and age, it would be rare that where you right now, a PhD student, you be professor, that you stay with that institution for the next 20 years. So the moment that you move between one institution and another, your presence, your branding stays with you wherever you go. You don't lose anything. If you only have a profile on your university website, it's gone when they fire you or you leave or whatever happens, right? If you have something of your own, it goes with you everywhere.
Very, very good. So we are going to go through this very quickly because you've answered the three main things that I think are really important and reasons why you should have a website. And it's a showcase. It's a showcase of your recent papers, of your CV, of the openings in your department, of the fact that you are a highly organized professional human being who's got things to share, and people should come to you because you've got all your stuff together, and here we have it on a website, right? It speaks for itself in such a beautiful way. The next is interaction. You have research papers. You can tell people how to cite your research papers. You might have an email list, and you can tell people how to sign up for your email list, and this is where you should be reaching me. You can have all of your social media channels on your website so that if you don't want to email them, you can say it's best to reach me on Twitter because I respond to the DMs very, very quickly. You can share with people how you want them to interact with you and then move forward from there. And the last is control. Like many of you said, you are going to have amazing research that is not just tied to the institution, it's tied to you. And you will be able to, on your website, irrespective of the design, the control of having the design or the control of the fonts that you're doing and the branding that you're doing, you have control of the actual information on your personal website so that you can list all of your papers and you can say, you know what, this is my mission, this is my vision, this is why I do the research that I do, and showcase your personality in the way that you want to showcase it. You can be authentic in a way on your own website that you might not be able to be on your university or your project's website. So it gives you complete control of how you want to show up on the internet. I would also say that on social media channels, they are changing every day. Facebook is changing its algorithms every day. Instagram, owned by Facebook, so obviously things change. Clubhouse, stuff is changing. LinkedIn, they're trying their hardest to continue to monetize as much as possible. So that means that even though you use the hashtags, even though you follow the rules of the handles, even though you do the things that last Wednesday you were told were best practices on these channels, they change it up constantly. So you might be thinking that you will be able to interact with and share things and it'll reach this audience over here. They're going to change the algorithm on you and you're not going to have any control over that. And so you won't be able to share the stuff that you want to share. When it's your website, you own that corner of the internet and you get to decide how things show up, when they show up, and who gets access to what. So having a website, having your own academic website is the ultimate control. Okay, so your next steps. Search yourself. I don't know how many people don't actually search themselves. They don't know what's out there and they're a little scared to figure out what's out there about them on the internet or who they're connected to. But this, I see some nods, but this is really, really important. You need to see what's there. What keywords are being used that show up? What type of research do you want to be known for? What type of information do you want to be connected to? See what's already there, and then you'll be able to tweak and make changes based on the content that you share going forward. So decide how you want to show up. Once you've seen the keywords, once you've seen the papers, once you've seen that picture that was taken 15 years ago that you really don't like anymore, and you see that, you can say, okay, now on my Twitter account, I'm going to make sure that this is the picture that I use, because I know that that's going to come up in the search results pretty quickly because of the algorithms that they have. And I know that I'm interested in these 5 subjects. So I'm going to make sure that I'm tweeting and I'm on LinkedIn sharing information about these subjects. And I've created my website so that I put these subjects on the homepage, and I put these subjects in my about page so that it comes up when people are searching for it. I would also say that think about the tone that you want to use on these platforms. Each platform is very different. So LinkedIn, it's more professional. Twitter, it's a little bit more casual. Clubhouse, it's a toss-up because it's such a new platform, and it depends on the rooms that you go in and what those rooms are speaking about. But think about who you are as an academic. Think about who you are as a person. Think about how you like to show up in the world authentically, because like I said, you're going to have to do this consistently. So you might as well be comfortable with it from the start, and then start putting stuff out there that makes you feel proud of who you are in these spaces. And last, get on the platforms. Just jump in, just do it. You are going to learn by doing. We all make mistakes. It's okay. Like I said, on all these platforms, things go by really fast. So, and no, like none of us are that important that people are going to snapshot and 5 years later be like, oh, remember when you said that? That wasn't so cool. Or you misspelled that word. Don't worry about it, because things go really, really fast, and they have edit buttons. So you might post something and then you can go back and be like, oh, okay, don't like that too much. I'm going to edit. And then you edit and it like reposts for you, and you're fine. So don't feel bad. Don't feel hindered by making mistakes, because you all do it. We're all human. And actually on social media platforms, people like it that you're human. People don't want to see robots and these uber professional people. People want to work with other humans. That's what connection is about. That's what marketing is about. I was sharing with some of you that I don't love social media, but I know it's a necessary evil. I would prefer to connect individually with each one of you. And so when you show up on social media and you show up like a human, and you might make some mistakes sometimes, you might like put your foot in your mouth sometimes, that's showing that you're human. And people want to work and be around other human beings. So in conclusion, if you do nothing else, get on a couple of social media platforms. Try 1 or 2, see how they feel, look at the interaction that you're getting, look at the tone that you're using and what people are engaging with. And if you don't like it, if it's not for you, if you feel stuck, you have me, so I can help you with it. But then you have other platforms. You have other choices. But social media is the lowest barrier to entry. And even though social media is the lowest barrier to entry, email marketing is still the best way to connect with people and get them to take action on what they're interested in, what you want them to be doing. And then last, if you truly want to own your brand as a researcher, as an academic, make a website and put the things that you feel are most important and you feel most confident about, and don't feel bad about bragging about yourself, because that's exactly what a website's there for. Just like LinkedIn is the platform to brag, your website is built to brag about the amazing things that you're doing. So that's it for me. I'm Ayana Coleman. You can you can see my website that needs a redo because I was busy working on Sapiens website. You can email me anytime, and you can find me across social media.
Awesome. Well, ladies, I know because I have 5 million questions too. But what we will do is we have today the lunch, and as you know, Ayana is one of the people that it's very easy to talk to. So I would very kindly ask you to utilize that time. And Ayana also is joining us today for the formal Sapiens dinner. So we will do that. We will take 2-3 questions, but please try to keep it short because we're running out of time. Just my one digression that I would like to make. I think that what I want you to think is this is for your career. If you don't like it, fine, but just don't shoot yourself in the knee. By the time that you finish that PhD, you may be wanting to do many different things in life. But if you want to be an academic, you can then apply for different funding, right? And in funding, I know, because that's how I got money over the years, you can write papers downloaded 5,000 times, retweeted 20,000 times. Social engagement, that's the name of the game in which we are within the academia, right? Those are the things that you can use for your benefit in funding application and applying for jobs, etc., etc. So a lot of the things about what Ayana was mentioning, how you can make that for yourself to help you out in years to come. So let's take, there are two, I think, maybe three. So let's gather them together. Each one of you just ask a question, and I ask Ayana to answer.
As a presentation. My question is, you were focusing really on email marketing. I have a bit of a marketing background, and when you do email marketing, I think, is it not that we are competing against a person's time when they have to do a lot of other work compared to when you're posting on Facebook or Instagram? I mean, like, it's a social time, so there would be a lot more engagement compared to when you're doing an email marketing, because it's like they have to work in, it's not really important at that point compared to when you're free and maybe you decide to have a look maybe.
That's a great question. So I would say a lot of social media is passive. So when you're on Facebook, when you're on Twitter, people are just scrolling. They are using that, like you said, as their free time. So they might engage, they might like it, they might comment back, but they're not going to take the action necessarily that someone who opens up an email and is taking the time to open that email up because they have said, yes, I want to hear from you. I think what you have to say is interesting. And then they're more likely to take action because you are not competing with the billion other people on Facebook or on Twitter. They've got stuff constantly streaming through, whereas in their email, it does take a little bit more effort, like you said, and a little bit more concentration. But because it takes a little bit more effort and concentration, they're more likely to do what you're asking them to do.
Okay, I'm asking. And also, I think with the email platforms, you have a chance to work on the Sapiens newsletter. So you get a little bit sort of trial on this.
Thank you so much for the presentation. As someone who is not very familiar with the subject, I have a lot of questions. First of which is, as a PhD researcher, who should be our target audience? Because I'm not sure if we should be addressing other scholars or public purchasers or like average person in general who is living in the EU.
So this is a great question because I have another presentation for you all later today, and it's going to focus specifically on who you should be talking to for your Sapiens research. But I would say there are two things, right? You have communication and you have dissemination. And for your communication, specifically for Sapiens, you are trying to talk to the general public. You want them to know about your research and know how your research affects their lives. And then with dissemination, you are specifically trying to talk to media. You're trying to talk to purchasers, public purchasers. You're trying to talk to other academics in your field. And that might not be best for email marketing. That might be better for LinkedIn. But then you're able to use hashtags and you're able to use handles, so you don't feel like you are butting in too much or being too forceful about things, but it's more of a passive thing where they're connected to the hashtags, you've used the handles, and then they can engage with you and the research that you're doing.
And I haven't.
Okay, I'm seeing Miriam is about to kill me right now. So just thank you so much, Ayana, and please utilize the time that you have still with her, because I'm not sure when she's going to join with us for the next event, when that would be next time. So please utilize the opportunity that you have a chance to talk to her still today.